Before the wealth, before the influence, there was a young man staring at a screen late into the night, driven less by money and more by an unanswered question. Bill Gates was not chasing fame or luxury. He was chasing possibility. At a time when computers were still misunderstood, he saw something most people overlooked, a tool that could reshape how the world worked. That belief quietly pulled him forward through doubt, pressure, and hard choices. What separates someone who dreams from someone who builds a lasting legacy? And what does it really take to stay committed when the outcome is still uncertain? Bill Gates grew up in a household where ideas were taken seriously and curiosity was encouraged. His father was a disciplined, thoughtful attorney who valued logic and responsibility. His mother was deeply involved in civic work and believed in using opportunity with intention. From an early age, Bill absorbed a quiet expectation that effort mattered and that thinking deeply was not only allowed, but respected. As a child, he was known for being focused and at times stubborn. When something captured his interest, he pursued it with intensity. That pattern became clear when he was introduced to computers during his school years. While most students treated the machine as a novelty, Bill treated it as a puzzle. He spent long hours learning its rules, testing its limits, and teaching himself how to make it respond. The screen became a space where his patience and curiosity could stretch without interruption. School did not always come easily. He questioned authority, challenged teachers, and struggled to fit into traditional structures. Yet beneath that restlessness was a deep desire to understand how systems worked. Programming offered clarity. Code followed logic. Effort produced visible results. Each small breakthrough reinforced his belief that complex problems could be solved with focus and persistence. Outside the classroom, Bill formed friendships with others who shared his interest in technology. These relationships were not built on popularity, but on shared fascination. They exchanged ideas, competed playfully, and pushed each other to think faster and deeper. The environment sharpened his skills and exposed him to collaboration, even as he remained intensely self-driven. By the time he reached his late teens, Bill stood at a quiet crossroads. Traditional paths promised stability, but the pull of innovation felt stronger. He sensed that timing mattered, that the world was on the edge of change. The question was no longer whether he could succeed, but whether he was willing to risk certainty, to pursue something undefined. As Bill Gates moved into early adulthood, opportunity and pressure began to arrive at the same time. College offered structure and prestige, but it also highlighted how quickly technology was evolving outside the classroom. He paid attention to emerging trends, reading technical papers and watching how computing slowly moved from research labs toward everyday use. Each development confirmed a growing belief that software, not hardware, would shape the future. A turning moment came when Bill and his close collaborator recognized a gap most people ignored. New computers were being built, but the programs that made them useful were limited and inconsistent. Instead of waiting for direction, they acted. Bill committed himself fully, choosing long nights of work over comfort and predictability. It was not a dramatic decision made in a single moment, but a series of small choices that slowly closed the door on safer options. The early days were demanding. Progress came in fragments, measured by lines of code that worked and ideas that failed. Mistakes were frequent, and pressure from competitors grew as others began to notice the same opportunity. Bill responded by refining his focus. He learned to move quickly without rushing, to correct errors without losing confidence. Each setback forced him to sharpen his thinking and improve his discipline. Relationships also evolved during this period. Collaboration became essential, but it required trust and clear expectations. Bill learned that vision alone was not enough. Execution mattered. Deadlines mattered. Reliability mattered. These lessons were sometimes uncomfortable, especially when ambition clashed with reality. Yet they shaped how he approached leadership and responsibility. As the company began to gain attention, success remained uncertain. Deals could fall apart. Technology could change overnight. Still, Bill stayed anchored to a simple principle. If the software solved real problems, people would use it. That belief guided every decision, even as the stakes quietly rose and the future remained unresolved. As momentum built, Bill Gates faced a different kind of challenge, one that had little to do with technology and everything to do with endurance. Growth brought pressure, and pressure demanded clarity. Every decision now carried weight, and distractions multiplied. What once felt like an open field of ideas became a landscape filled with trade-offs. He had to decide not only what to pursue, but what to ignore. Internally, Bill wrestled with control and trust. His standards were exacting, and he expected others to match his pace. This intensity produced results, but it also tested relationships. Over time, he began to recognize that leadership required more than personal brilliance. It required systems, delegation, and patience. Letting go of certain details did not come naturally, yet it became necessary for sustained progress. Failure also played a quiet role in shaping his mindset. Not every product succeeded. Not every strategy landed as expected. Instead of viewing these moments as losses, Bill treated them as data. He studied what went wrong, adjusted his approach, and moved forward without lingering regret. This ability to separate ego from outcome allowed him to stay adaptable in an industry that rewarded speed and punished hesitation. A major turning point came with the realization that long-term impact demanded consistency, not constant reinvention. Bill focused on building platforms rather than chasing trends. He committed to improving what already worked, refining it until it became reliable at scale. This discipline transformed early momentum into lasting dominance. At the same time, public scrutiny increased. Success invited criticism, competition, and legal challenges. These pressures forced Bill to mature beyond the role of creator. He had to think strategically, balance ambition with responsibility, and accept that influence carried consequences. Each challenge strengthened his resolve, not through stubbornness, but through deliberate reflection. What emerged from this period was a steadier form of confidence. Not the excitement of rapid growth, but the assurance that careful thinking, sustained effort, and learning from setbacks could outlast temporary obstacles. The path forward was no longer uncertain, but it still demanded commitment without complacency. By the time Bill Gates reached global recognition, his journey had transformed from a personal ambition into a broader mission. The wealth and influence were visible markers, but the deeper achievement lay in the systems he built and the mindset he cultivated. Years of curiosity, disciplined work, and thoughtful risk-taking had coalesced into something far larger than any single product or deal. Success was no longer a matter of chance. It was the result of intentional action and resilience through uncertainty. Looking back, the early late nights spent debugging code, the countless decisions weighed and reconsidered, and the moments of doubt now appear as essential threads in the fabric of his accomplishments. Each challenge taught lessons in patience, adaptability, and focus, shaping not just a career, but a way of thinking that could be applied to any ambitious goal. Gates' story underscores the value of vision, tempered by persistence, showing that meaningful results require both imagination and sustained effort. Yet even with remarkable success, Bill's story emphasizes humility and purpose. Recognition, profit, and innovation mattered, but they were always accompanied by responsibility to employees, to users, and to the broader community. This balance of achievement and accountability became a defining feature of his leadership and a source of inspiration to others seeking to create impact. Ultimately, his journey illustrates that becoming one of the world's richest men is not about luck or shortcuts. It is about the accumulation of countless small, disciplined actions, guided by curiosity and driven by commitment. For anyone watching, the lesson is clear. The path to meaningful success is not linear, comfortable, or free of doubt, but with focus, resilience, and a willingness to learn. Extraordinary outcomes are possible. Even now, reflecting on the journey, one realizes that wealth and influence are not endpoints. They are milestones. The real triumph lies in the growth, insight, and purpose developed along the way, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire generations.